Hello, welcome to my channel PathtoAI. My name is 𝗝cie𝗶𝗶 and today we're going to talk about how to become a data scientist. Yes, how to become a data scientist, right? This is one of the most asked question out there, right? And I get this question from a lot of different people, like maybe the fresh engineering or maybe any graduates out there, and maybe experienced people who are working either in IT or even in non-IT background, and even some very high experienced people who are having maybe more than 10 years of experience and they want to get into the data science field, right? And everybody has this the main crux about is like how to transition into the data science role, or how to become a data scientist, or maybe how to get into a very similar domain, or even how to get a work of similar to the machine learning and data science and AI, right? So we're going to talk about all these things, how you can get it into this domain and how you can really work. So let's start this video. I request you to please like and comment out any question you have, and please subscribe to the channel. I'll keep posting more videos. So let's get started. So before getting started, I'd just like to tell a little bit about myself, who I am. Right. My name is 𝗝cie𝗶𝗶. I've been working as a data scientist for almost 6 years now, and I work with different companies in different roles, and I do provide mentorship with some of the top institutes out there, and I've almost trained more than 1,500 working professional students so far, and I just want to share a little bit of my learning and what I feel how this industry is going to be in the future. So let's get started. Okay, before getting started, I just want to ask you this, like, why you really want to become a data scientist, okay, or why you want to get into this data science field. Now you should ask this question, and one of the most prominent answer, or you can say the top answer which you would have, should be the driving factor for you to start this journey. Okay, so many of you will say like, okay, data science is, or maybe the data scientists has been tagged as the sexiest job of 21st century because of the pay, because that is the next coming technology, because AI is becoming the next big thing out there, right? And maybe you will say you fear you might lose your job, or your job doesn't interest any of the work which you are doing right now, right? It's not that much interesting work which you are doing right now. So you can have any or maybe multiple reasons why you want to get into the data science field, right? So decide where you think like what is the driving factor for you to getting into this field, because that will be the biggest motivation behind getting into, right? Obviously there are a lot of other fields are out there, so I have made a separate video for that, like what are the different jobs available apart from data science, like which is the next big thing, which is in the part of the whole industrial transformation which is happening right now. And so the link is there in the description. Do check that out, like if you really want to explore some of the new coming technologies out there and what are their jobs and perspective on that. So do check this out. If you want to, again, like you have made up your mind and you want to get into the data science field and want to explore, so let's continue. So if you have this answer, second question would be from me is like, where are you right now? Okay, I'm not asking you where you are right now when you're watching this video. I'm asking you where are you right now in your career. And this question is really important in terms of how you wanna go ahead in your journey, because where are you right now, I really don't know, right? So let me break it down into a category so it will be easy for you to put yourself into any of the bucket, right? So if you're a fresh engineering graduate, or maybe you're in third year, fourth year, or have just completed your graduation, or maybe a post graduation in that matter, right? Maybe masters or any other degree you would have done, and you are still fresher, you have no working experience, right? So there's a one, so you are either falling into that category. So there are a lot of people who are into a working professional category and have at least maybe more than 2 years working experience, and then there are two people in that also, like who have IT experience, who have been working into IT maybe in different domains like maybe SAP, Salesforce, or maybe in database, or maybe as a software developer working with C#, C++, Java, or all these other programming languages, maybe a front-end or back-end developer, right? You might be in any of this and you have a roughly experience around 2 to 6 years, or a little bit around that, right? If you are in that. And maybe if you are some people, because I have seen a lot of students coming up from various different backgrounds, right? I have seen students coming from like a CA, like totally BA, BCom background, MBA guys who have no IT experience before, and a lot of mechanical people, civil people are coming up and taking up data science as their field, as their career option, right? And they want to explore. So if you are from that, who have a working experience in any of the other domain apart from IT, and still you have a good experience of around 2 to 6 or 4, maybe 8 years, right, in your particular domain, that's a third category. And the last one is like if you have a high experience, like maybe more than 10 years or 15 years experience, and now at that point of time, it doesn't matter much where you are from IT or any other background, because you would be kind of in a position where you will be doing more of like a leadership role, or maybe a managerial role, or maybe maybe something higher than that, right? And so that's a fourth bucket, I'll say. So first decide where you are right now, right, in those 4 buckets, where you put yourself in this zone you will put yourself, okay? And accordingly we'll talk about what should be your path, or what should be the career options for you to go into or become a data scientist, or maybe there are a lot of other job roles which we're going to talk about, like what are the different job roles available in the whole data science domain. Data scientist is just one of the tag, and it is being loosely used in a lot of different you can say jobs descriptions, right? Maybe there are a lot of analytical work and they still give the designation of a data scientist, where there are a lot of programming and machine learning engineer role, they still give expect that data scientists should know all those things. So this industry is revolving around, so don't get confused just with the tag name, but the work which you will be doing is more important, right? So I'll make a separate video for what are the different job descriptions, or I'll place that description in this video. So what are the different job roles available and what are the skills required for them, okay? So but let's continue from our discussion. So where you are right now, right? So either you are a fresher, you are in 2 to 4 years experience in IT, you are 2 to 6, 8 years experience in non-IT, and maybe you have a higher years for experience, right? So now what next? Okay, so the next thing is just try to you already have some of the working experience, or you're totally new. Now is the third part is skill. What is the skill required for you to become a data scientist, right? So the first and most important skill, which is not at all a kind of hard skill which you can learn directly from anywhere, is understanding of data, right? I'll say that, hey, you will say, hey Ashish, like what data and how to understand data, like because from where we'll get the data, if we'll get like how we'll understand and all data, right? That's the major problem in the data science field, right? Until you have a good understanding about the data, the type of data which you're dealing with, right? And how to even process that data, if it's a big data, if it's a small data, what are the tools and techniques you can use to understand, utilize the data, maybe make it into a form where you can get into an analysis mode, or you can apply all the learnings of machine learning, or maybe your advanced deep learning and AI, until you have a good understanding about the data. And the domain also comes with that data, right? From where it's coming. If I'll give you medical domain data, right, like an MRI image, if you don't understand that, right, you can't play with that, right? You can't use that data to maybe create any image classification or such kind of model. Same if I'll give you a finance related data, like a banking data. If you don't understand those terms, what that data means, like what is that particular column in that data, right? You won't be able to create the best model out there, right? It will be like kind of, okay, you have done something, you have made something, but it's not going to be the like the project which you can actually make it into a real product or into a solution which can go and solve your business problem. So that's important. You should understand different kind of data sets and data sources are available, from where it is coming. Try to understand the data, and that is where the majority of you can say open source projects and hackathons are kind of a little bit lacking, because they just give you the like almost clean up data, or maybe a sample of data, and they just want you to use different algorithms, and that's where the limitation happen, right? Because in real data science project, almost 70% of data 70% of time goes in actually making that data pipeline and then making that data ready, which generally we get in hackathons or maybe in some open source data easily available. And then we try to use some of the on-the-shelf algorithms available to solve that problem. And that's something where that makes you different from the people who have an experience in the data science, or maybe you are just learning maybe through an open source. And I'm not saying that these projects are not good. That's the best way to learn, but try to understand the data when you're actually solving the problem. Maybe it's a hackathon or any from Kaggle or any other hackathon if it's there, right? Or any open source data. Try to understand the data more, like try to figure out some of the things or features more, then you will be able to create a better solution. Spend some time with that data. Okay. And then is another skills comes is your statistics part, like because you are dealing with the data, and mostly if it's a structured data, I'm not talking about text or image data, because there's a different techniques you use for those data. Again, it's in digital form, you convert it into arrays and multi-dimensional arrays in some of the cases, but again, try to see how you can use statistics to the core, where you can create more feature mapping and you can understand that data, because there the whole mathematics and statistics part comes, even to explain the model which you have built, right? How you can use those statistical terms to make sure you are conveying that how good your model is and the result is. So there the statistics play a major role in that front. And again, then understanding how that particular machine learning algorithm is working, that is also the core part, because I've seen and I've encountered a lot in different interviews itself. Like interviewers are asking asking us to even implement some of the algorithms, like for example like night Bayes, right? If you talk about, or maybe a logistic regression or a linear regression, they're not asking you to if you know it or how, even the theory part, right? They can even ask you if you can write a function, maybe in Python or R, any of the programming language you prefer, but how you can implement that particular logic and write a function to implement that, right? So there what you have to understand is how that particular whole logic behind that algorithm, and how you can even code that particular logic in the best possible way, right? Where you can solve the given a data, you can fit your model and can predict something. So in that way, you need to have a really good understanding about all the different, or at least some of the most common machine learning models out there, and then how you can actually implement it. So if you just take some on-the-shelf algorithms available and you can just build package, that's how you are going to do. Actually, you are not going to build from scratch in the when actually you'll be working. But in order to crack those interviews, you should understand the complete theoretical as well as the programmatically how you can code that logic. So there all these skills come into the picture. So major skills which you can see is like programming, statistics and data, and I'll say to some level machine learning algorithm itself, which will be covered, I'll say, more into the mathematics part. These are the four major things which you should be required to or you should master in order to get into the data science tools. Now the second and the question would be like, from where we can learn this? I'd say you can learn it from anywhere. It doesn't matter. There are a lot of open resources available. Yeah, the major problem with open source resources is like your dedication, and there are a lot of noise. So if you not follow that part, you might end up spending more amount of time in understanding maybe a small concept. So but there are a lot of good MOOCs available which you can just follow and can quickly complete all these basic things, and then you can start applying to the real problem. Okay, let's move on, right? We have to talk about how to become a data scientist, and there are a lot of other things in this loop. So once you master all these skills, right, for example, what you're going to do with that, right? You're going to work on something. So the best way is try to solve some hackathon problem, or try to create a project. Try to look up the problem statement maybe from your surrounding, or there are a lot of open source problems available right now. Even the Google had their form, like search engine, where you can search the data sets based on what you want. Okay, so use that data and try to solve that problem which is given in there, and try to create a project out of it, and try to see what are the new implementation you can or maybe the different way of applying the same kind of models, how you can fine tune the model into the best way to get the best result out of it, right? So by this way you will have enough confidence about dealing with different kind of data, and maybe master at least 2 good projects, like a good level projects, not with the dummy data or like Titanic data or something. A good data, maybe if you're having the structured data, at least have more than few lakhs of data points. If you're having images or NLP data set, that also should be like a really big data, because that will give you a lot of different noise which actually is present in real data sets, and you'll be able to solve those problems. So, and once you do that, try to show how you have worked on it, create a project out of it, put it into a GitHub, share it on the LinkedIn, and get some reviews, comment from your peers, and maybe there are a lot of people out there on LinkedIn. So get some comment and put it into your resume profile and share that work. So what will happen is, like, even interviewers and maybe the recruiters who are looking up for the profile who have some experience in these similar projects out there, right, they might approach you, or maybe they might shortlist your profile as compared to anyone who have just maybe done a certification, or you have just done some course, right? Better if you have a project and that's resonate to their work which they are require, right? Maybe someone who is looking up for an NLP guy, and you have done a project on NLP and you have a really good understanding of the NLP concept and machine learning, obviously your profile will be of more weightage than any other candidate out there, right? And that's how it really works. So that way you will be able to get more visibility, and even if you will not put it like the experienced person, right, you can say that, okay, I'm into a data science transition and I've been working on projects for past maybe how many months or years, right, and I'm open for getting into the transition into role. If they're really looking up for someone with a little bit less experience and who is okay and learn and to adapt to the thing, they will definitely consider your profile, and until unless they're looking for some senior resource, right, and who needs to know end to end, they will obviously look for you if you have worked on some of the project which you can actually showcase as a case study also, right? In many interviews, even they look up hey, can you present your case study, what you worked on the data and all, and many times now even in the interviews they're giving you the data, some open source data, and try to get you the solution, so you can do maybe take a day and solve that problem and give the solution. And if you really give the best solution out there, you will get shortlisted for the next interviews out there. So this is how you can draft your whole journey of becoming a data scientist. There is no shortcut, or there is no only a one path or one way. I'll say at least spend some time, be in that whether you're working or not, at least spend minimum 6 months to be in that have that confidence of oh, okay, give me data, I can solve this problem, or I can try and implement these things so I can see what the best I can do, right? You should have that much confidence enough to get into that thing, and then the learning will never stop. That's the one good or bad, you can say, the part about being into this field. It's changing like anything, and the more you will learn, the more you will implement, and again the more you will learn. So that's it, I'll say. If you have any question or any suggestion, anything, and any other question you might want to ask, or you want any other topic on which should make a video, please write it in the comment. That's it. Thank you.